For me, I think the biggest thing that football taught me was how to overcome adversity.
At some point in your life, you're going to have some tough times.
You have to have that next play mentality.
That cohesiveness and that working together, that's really something special that you can't get in a lot of other areas.
When you practice that and you live that in other phases of your life, it becomes second nature because all you know how to do is fight.
It's not an easy game. If it were easy, everyone would do it.
You start to appreciate the smaller contributions that people make. You don't just look at the big one because you knew it took 6 or 7 other guys who are unsung.
And you know, you can't take shortcuts and be successful.
Doing what they do to make it possible for the guy getting the press clippings or whatever it might be.
In this game, whether it's as a coach or a player.
So I would certainly say that you know, you definitely got a very quick lesson in how to overcome adversity playing football.
And don't forget to check out and order your copy of our latest book, Stiff Arming Football Myths. You can find this available in both paperback and PDF form on our website at footballgameplan.com/books. Cam Newton has played well enough to help lead the Panthers to back-to-back playoff appearances. This year statistically might be his best yet as he's healthy, and Carolina has added another receiving option on the outside. There's still more that can be done offensively, but the one place where the Panthers don't have to worry about for the next decade is the quarterback position as long as Cam Newton is suiting up for Carolina. What made the Panthers' ground game dangerous was the fact that they had 2 elite talents in the backfield with D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. This year is only Stewart, and while at least in my opinion, Stewart can be a consistent 1,300-yard back, he's one play away from decent type options, which could really derail one facet of the Panthers' offense. Outside of Mike Tolbert, who's really a fullback short yardage guy, the Panthers' backfield is filled with special teamers at best, all capable of being good complementary guys, and for the Panthers' sake, you hope that stays the case. Last year, both Kelvin Benjamin and tight end Greg Olsen went over 1,000 yards. That was excellent for this offense. Now add in rookie Devin Funchess out of Michigan, and the Panthers could have 3 1,000-yard receivers. Both Benjamin and Funchess, because of their size, could dictate the way safeties align pre-snap, which could then open up more opportunities for Greg Olsen. Ted Ginn and Jericho Cotchery are dependable veterans that'll vie for the 3rd wide receiver spot, but in my opinion, with the chemistry shown last year and the big playability shown by Philly Brown, I think he should be the guy. Ed Dixon is a solid number 2 tight end, and I would keep an eye on Scott Simonson. I was a big fan of his game coming out of Assumption College, and he just needs the opportunity because he has really good receiving skills. This is the main spot where the Panthers have to play better. The thought was that they'd address the offensive line early in the draft, but they went in another direction. Instead, free agency is where they brought in help. Former first-round pick Michael Orr was signed to man the left tackle spot with the hopes to rejuvenate his once promising career. Both center Ryan Khalil and guard Trey Turner are studs on the interior, and guard Andrew Norwell started games last year as an undrafted free agent and more than held his own. The battle at the right tackle spot with Mike Rimmers and rookie 4th-round pick Darrell Williams out of Oklahoma. I think Williams gives them a little bit more of what they need at right tackle, an athletic guy, and I think you'll see him sooner rather than later. And there's also some good depth here with Amini Silatulo, David Fulcolt, and Chris Scott.
I love football. I cannot get enough of football. I watch it on every level.
The emotional release. You know, whether it's an exciting play that gets you all jacked up and juiced, or whether it's the fact that you're able to pour everything you have. Whatever frustration you had that week, you can put into that first kickoff coverage, that first block that you have, whatever it might be.
And I couldn't think of anything better to do to fill that void that you have as a football player than to get into coaching.
You get a chance to release a lot of emotion that you otherwise have no place to release. There's nothing else like that.
Again, the relationships you build and the people you're around and watching the guys compete, not just on the football field, but in life after they get done playing. It's just an amazing game.
Very strong defensive line here for the Panthers. 3 bona fide stars in defensive end Charles Johnson, who led the team last year with 8.5 sacks, and defensive tackles Starla Tooley and Kawan Short. Those three make the linebacker's job a hell of a lot easier. Opposite of Johnson, you look at Wes Horton, who was decent last season and now will be pushed into a reserve role because the hope is that Coney Ely raises his game and becomes a stalwart on the right side. You look at Mario Addison, who had a solid year last season with 6.5 sacks, and I like the depth that they have here on the inside with Colin Cole and DeJuan Edwards. I would also keep an eye on 2 undrafted free agents in Arthur Miley out of Southern and defensive tackle Terry Redden out of Memphis. Both guys are more than likely headed to the practice squad, but they do have a ton of talent. Here is the strength of the Panthers defense. You can make a case for Luke Kuechly being the best linebacker in football, bar none. He, along with Thomas Davis, are both 3-down backers that excel on both ends of defense. Joining them this year is first-round pick Shaq Thompson out of Washington, who graded out as my number 2 overall prospect in this year's draft class. Thompson is a 3-down backer with the ability to match up versus backs, tight ends, as well as some receivers. Both A.J. Klein and rookie David Mayo out of Texas State provide and will provide good depth and solid special teams play along with Jason Trusnick. I like the Panthers secondary. I like what I saw last year from Josh Norman. He really came into his own and played some good ball. Bené Benwickery outplayed his draft status and looks to lock down the starting spot on the other side of Norman. Now the Panthers bring in veteran Charles Tillman to provide depth, and the future Hall of Famer has the intelligence and the ball skills of a player that's in his prime. He can be a good mentor as well to Melvin White, a fellow Raging Cajun. Trey Boston started at free safety as a rookie, but I would keep an eye on undrafted rookie free agent Dean Marlowe out of James Madison. Marlowe is a combo guy, able to play both free and strong, with the ability to cover in the slot and has ball skills. And if it were me, he'd start at free safety. Roman Harper mans a strong safety spot and played respectable last year, actually leading the team in interceptions with 4. Kurt Coleman was brought in via free agency to challenge for that spot, but I still think reserve Robert Lester should be the guy at strong safety. I think last year was an aberration, and Graham Gano at kicker will get his consistency back and be just fine, and punter Brad Nortman has his consistency and has been very solid his entire time in Carolina. Philly Brown did an admirable job as kickoff and punt returner last year, and Ted Ginn will relieve Brown of those duties this season as he was re-signed in the offseason and is a very dangerous returnman.